NASCAR is currently scrambling to make adjustments to their current qualifying format after yesterday's qualifying session turned out to be more of a joke than anything else. How's it going, you guys? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. I know, a Saturday evening episode, kind of a weird time to upload, but after yesterday's wild qualifying session, I felt like I needed to get this video out there quicker than usual. The Auto Club Speedway Cup race is tomorrow, but we had qualifying yesterday on Friday, and it was wild. Let's talk about what happened. Everyone was talking about the third and final round of qualifying where the top 12 drivers all went out to try and make a lap at the very end of the session as time was running out. Ultimately, none of them made it around to even start a qualifying lap. They all waited till the very last second and ultimately waited too long. As you can see here, none of the drivers actually managed to turn a lap in final qualifying. So Austin Dillon ended up winning the pole with an official speed of 0 seconds. I guess that's a new track record when you think about it. But yeah, like I said, in the end, no driver in the final round of qualifying got a chance to even make a lap. You know, with the current round by round, knockout round of qualifying that we have now, the first round is 10 minutes and all 40 cars or however many go out there and run a lap. Top 24 advance to round 2. Round 2 is also 10 minutes and they have 10 minutes to go out there and make a lap. And from there, the top 12 move on to round 3. Now, round 3 is usually 5 minutes long, much shorter. So the drivers only have 5 minutes to go out there and make a fast lap and see where they're going to start the race on Sunday. Well, with this current aero package, drafting is a much larger player than we've seen in years past. We saw this a little bit a couple weeks ago at Las Vegas, a 1.5-mile track, we saw some drafting, but here at Auto Club, a 2-mile track where drafting has always been more important than at the 1.5 miles. With this low horsepower, high downforce, high drag package, we knew we were going to see a lot of drafting. We saw some drafting in practice. So coming into qualifying, we knew everyone was going to want to draft with each other because that's how you're going to be able to turn a faster lap. The problem with drafting during qualifying like this is it means the fastest individual car likely isn't going to win the pole because you're a lot more reliant on what other cars are around you, whether or not you're able to get a good pull down a straightaway from people in front of you. You know, a slower car, a 10th place car, could just catch a nice draft at the right time and qualify in the top 3. Now here's the problem. When you get to the last round of qualifying, nobody wants to be the lead car in the draft. The lead car in a draft is always going to be at more of a disadvantage compared to everyone behind them. And so when you put these cars on a time limit, everyone's just kind of waiting to see who's going to bite the bullet and be the first one to go out. As you see on this replay here from qualifying yesterday, you can see like nobody really wants to go out first. Everyone's just kind of playing chicken with each other. You see like at one point here, Ryan Blaney's like, oh, I'm going to go out first, but then even he slows down and lets everyone catch back up to him once he gets out front. So it's like nobody really wants to be first in this draft, but as the time continues to tick, everyone's like, we got to go, but I don't want to be the first one to go. You see the problem here? We all kind of knew this would be a problem. I don't think anyone thought it would be quite as big of a train wreck as we saw yesterday, but that's why we're talking about it here today, because NASCAR didn't like what they saw yesterday. The fans didn't even like what they saw yesterday, because as a result, like I said, nobody managed to make a lap in the final round, so the top 12, it was kind of a mess. Here was Clint Boyer right after the qualifying session giving his take on things. He wasn't too happy.
We just got booed, and it's disappointing. I don't know. I saw this coming 3 weeks ago. I think we all did, and unfortunately, you know, we're going to have to be reactive to it instead of proactive, but we'll get through it. I mean, it's just a learning process. The whole package is a learning process. Everybody knows that going in. A little bit out of patience with Fridays. You know, there's so much hard work and dedication on so many teams' behalves to go out there and have the fastest car, you know, known to mankind that you're literally capable of building within the walls of your organization, and unfortunately it just doesn't matter. We're capable of, I know we are, we're capable of as an industry of putting on a better show than that.
Now obviously a lot of fans were upset by this, understandably so. Wasn't a great show from what I could tell. Cars sitting on pit road for 8-9 minutes and then trying to scramble for a minute for the final minute of the round to make a lap and people passing each other, and it just didn't really work. So I understand why a lot of fans were upset by this. A lot of the drivers, like Clint Boyer, as you can see right there, obviously frustrated by it as well. And NASCAR said they weren't happy with what they saw either. NASCAR's Senior Vice President of Competition, Scott Miller, immediately made some interesting comments after the qualifying session ended. He said, having the last 12 cars wait until they couldn't get a time posted on the board and making a mockery out of the qualifying is not what we expect for our fans. It's a little bit on us in that we hope things would go better than that. It's an exciting show when they're out there on the racetrack, but obviously we have a little work to do on our part to get a little bit of a better format so things like this can't happen. We certainly want to provide our fans with what they deserve. We and the teams didn't do a very good job of that. We're really disappointed. I like that statement. He puts a little bit of the blame on the teams, and, rightfully so, teams and drivers, could have gone. They didn't have to sit there and wait like that for the longest time. When they looked at the clock and saw the time was running out, they should have hit the gas and gone, but they didn't, so teams deserve some credit, but at the same time, NASCAR deserves most of the blame for putting the teams and drivers in this box that really prevents any sort of real fair qualifying session from taking place. As far as whether or not this qualifying format will change going forward, here's what Scott Miller said. I think we will definitely make some tweaks to it. Not quite sure what. We've been working on a few other things. We really don't want to go back to single car qualifying. There may not be another way, but we want to try to exhaust every possibility before we do that. That's just not as fun, not as intriguing a show as the group situation. We're going to try to figure out a way to adjust the group qualifying thing and not go back to single, but we've got some work to do on that. Reports suggest that with the format we see at Texas in a couple weeks, the next mile-and-a-half track with this aero package, that format is likely going to be a little bit different than what we've seen so far this year. But like Miller just said right there, we're not sure what format it's going to be exactly. They clearly don't want to go back to the single car qualifying session because, in their words, it's not as entertaining, it's not as great of a show for the fans, and I agree with them there. Ever since they started doing this group qualifying at most Cup Series tracks and races the last several years, it's been honestly fun. And as we heard in a statement this past offseason, that qualifying has been a ratings winner for NASCAR, likely because it's more entertaining than it used to be. In the past, you'd watch an hour and a half long qualifying session only for your favorite driver to be on track for about a minute of that time. And sometimes they'd be in commercial break and wouldn't even show your driver make his lap. So honestly, yeah, I don't miss single car qualifying. With the group qualifying thing, you have all the drivers making more than one lap typically, sometimes multiple times in one round, moves at a lot faster pace. The group qualifying format up until this year, up until 2019 with the new aero package, has been great. I can't really think of any significant faults of the group qualifying format, and I think most fans would agree. I think most fans I've talked to and that I've heard from enjoy the group qualifying format, at least up until this season, But with this aero package that's supposed to help make the racing on track a little bit better, a little bit more competitive, it definitely does not lend itself well to the group qualifying format. With all the drafting, with all the games that need to be played with other cars, yeah, this format isn't going to work. They're going to have to change it. Some drivers, like David Reagan here, suggested they just run heat races in place of qualifying. I'll be honest, I'd be down for that. We've seen how with these cars being more stable, they're not wrecking quite as much as I think we thought they would. So yeah, what's the harm in lining them up and running a couple heat races on a Friday afternoon? I think that'd be a show. If I had my say in this, that's what I might vote for, but unclear what NASCAR is going to do here. It sounds like they're really going to try to make an adjustment that doesn't involve going back to single car qualifying, but we'll see what they do. It sounds like they're going to try and make some changes, though, over the next week, and we'll have something new in place for Texas. So we won't have to wait very long, at least, to see what kind of changes NASCAR comes up with. NASCAR already made some adjustments to the qualifying format. After the kind of craziness we saw at Las Vegas, drivers rocketing off of pit road for this Auto Club qualifying session yesterday, they did make a pit road speed rule where drivers couldn't speed on pit road before heading onto the track. So that was new, and I don't know that it really helped much, but they're going to make some adjustments before the race at Texas Motor Speedway, and I think a lot of fans definitely agree that that needs to happen. With this current package, no matter what you think of it as far as the actual race is concerned, whether or not you think it makes the racing better or worse or however, it's clear that it does not make qualifying better, at least not group qualifying. So they're going to have to change that. I'm looking forward to seeing what they change it to, how they tweak it. I don't really want them to go back to single car qualifying, honestly, but I actually do like the idea of heat races. I'll be honest, it might be tough to do, but I don't see why they couldn't. I'd be all down for heat races. One complaint I've seen from some fans, I've seen them say that, qualifying isn't supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be just a thing that sets up the race on Sunday, and I don't know, I disagree with that. Sports are entertainment, and I know that qualifying isn't the main reason people come out on a weekend to watch racing. I know that's not the highlight of the weekend for very many people, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be fun to watch. It's televised. Like Fox, NBC, they televise qualifying because they assume it's entertaining to some people. If it wasn't entertaining at all, they wouldn't televise it. If it's a sport and it's being televised by a major network, I'm sorry, it has to be entertaining. If you want something to be boring, well, I'm sorry, it's not going to be televised. But if you want it to be televised for you to watch wherever you are, you need it to be entertaining. So, in my opinion, why can't qualifying be entertaining? Like I said, group qualifying up until this year has worked and has also been entertaining. It's been a win-win. That's what NASCAR said. That's what I think the fans would say. But with this new format, yeah, we have to change group qualifying. But why should we go and immediately make it boring and forgettable? Like, why is that people's immediate argument? Like, oh, this group, I've never been a fan of this group qualifying thing because it's just trying to make the sport more entertaining. How dare they try to make the sport more entertaining? I've never been a fan of this group qualifying shenanigans. Come on, you guys, you're not making any sense there. Yeah, I agree with you. Group qualifying in 2019 at the big tracks with this package doesn't work. We agree with you there. But to suddenly act like the last 2 or 3 years of group qualifying has all been terrible, you're just kidding yourself. What are you doing? If NASCAR goes back to single car qualifying at these tracks, I'll still watch. Sometimes. If they switch it to heat races though, and line up 10, 20 cars and do a couple heat races in a Friday afternoon, yeah, I'll watch. And I think a lot of other people would too. I'd be curious to know what you guys think down in the comments, but this whole argument that qualifying doesn't have to be entertaining, that's a terrible argument. I'm sorry, that's a bad take. Sounds like NASCAR is going to change the format before the Texas race. How they're going to change it, what they're going to change it to, remains to be seen. We'll probably get an announcement sometime this next week, but very interesting. Obviously, yesterday was not a good day for NASCAR. It kind of made a mockery of part of the sport, so that wasn't great, but I think NASCAR fans and drivers all agree that something needs to change, so likely that's what we're going to see. Thanks everyone for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the group qualifying thing, of the qualifying mishap from yesterday, what kind of qualifying format you would like to see going forward. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I look forward to reading them. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Out of the Groove, weekend edition, Saturday edition. I know, that's great. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I tweet during the races. I tweet all throughout the week about NASCAR stuff, so follow me over there. Also, you can get yourself an Out of the Groove t-shirt and support me, support the show. That's also down by the description next to my P.O. Box address. If you want to send me some cool NASCAR stuff, I'll show it off and shout you out in an upcoming episode. I plan on doing that next week in a new video. And then, of course, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Shout out to Michael Harrison at GWizOfTheStars, SelfishGifts.com, Mentally Defective, Cameron James, John Koblenz, Tim Shingen, Jason R. Long, Wesley Donaldson, Isaac Dennison, Mika Suzuki, iFantasyRace.com, Adam Lean, and the rest of these amazing Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much for your continued support. It's a mouthful saying all those names, but I really appreciate that we continue to add new names to this list. Helps me out a ton, helps me grow this channel, and I got some exciting things I'm working on. I'll be at the race at Texas Motor Speedway in a couple weeks. I'll be there for the whole weekend, as a matter of fact, working on a few different projects that I can't wait to share with you guys, so a lot of that is due to the support from you all here on Patreon, so thank you. Yeah, like I said, I will be at Texas Motor Speedway in 2 weeks for the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup race, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm also going to be at Circuit of the Americas for the IndyCar race in 1 week. So if you see me there, it's my first ever IndyCar race. I've never been to an IndyCar race before, but I figured I'd go to that one since the track is like 20 minutes away from me. I should probably take advantage of that before I move out of here. So I'll be there for that. If you're there, say hi, and I'm looking forward to doing that as well. Thanks everyone for the support. I'll have another episode up tomorrow after the Auto Club race. Hopefully it's a good one. See you guys again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.